How the hell do you get out of your own way, especially when you suffer from ongoing anxiety? It's so easy to let yourself stand in your own way when you suffer from ongoing anxiety. Believe me, I know. I used to suffer from debilitating anxiety that it forced me to live a caged life, but it also forced me to take better care of myself, both physically and mentally. Frankly, that's how I got in the world of personal growth and self-development. And over time, I've learned how to finally set myself free. So if you're someone who's suffering from ongoing anxiety, or if you just simply want to step out of your comfort zone where you can grow into your best self, then you'll really want to pay attention to what I have to say next. You see, over the years, I've come to realize that it's me versus me. It always has been, and it always will be. And when you develop a mindfulness practice, you really learn how to be more self-aware. Because when you're more aware of your daily actions and your daily habits, you begin to have more control over your life. You begin to understand why we do what we do and what's the underlying reason for us to stay in our comfort zone. Now, there's usually 4 main reasons why we get in our own way. And the first reason is because we give in to our limiting beliefs of just not being good enough. And the second reason is our vulnerability. We're afraid that if we show our real authentic self, our thoughts and our beliefs, that we might be judged or ridiculed or worse, rejected. And the third one is just a lack of showing up, especially when it's uncomfortable or difficult. And the fourth one is perfectionism. If it's not perfect, then it's just not worth putting out there. So if you're at a point where you've had enough with this, just living this cage life, and you're ready to break free from these chains called fear, then you must implement these best practices. The first one is when you feel like you want to give in to those limiting beliefs, the moment that you feel challenged, you just want to take a deep breath and just kindly ask your inner critic to just take a break, and that you've got it from here. And I know that sounds lunatic, but trust me, it really works. Just one of the greatest techniques that I've learned early on was that whenever I would criticize myself, I would use Jack Canfield's teaching and simply say, cancel, cancel, and then I would replace it with a positive affirmation. Applying this technique on a consistent basis literally fired and wired my neurons inside of my brain to think more positive, and it ultimately increased my self-worth. And the second best practice is just the power of vulnerability. You see, most of my upbringing, I would hide behind my flaws. If it wasn't for shaving my arms, it was hiding my scar in my forehead by cutting my hair into bangs. And for the longest time, I would have trouble making eye contact because I have a lazy eye. And over time, those insecurities turned into insecurities that, just other types of insecurities, like not telling anybody about my panic attacks because I was afraid to feel judged. And I've learned that those insecurities and those vulnerabilities can in fact help other people. And the moment I started opening up about my anxiety, I saw how much of a positive impact that I had on others, because they felt less alone, because they too struggle with their own stuff. So especially when you learn how to overcome certain things, you're able to provide the tips and tools and how you can reduce your stress and your anxiety. And it's really been rewarding and fulfilling, and it actually helped heal my own anxiety. So if you're hiding behind your flaws, I highly recommend showing your vulnerability, because that could be your superpower. And the third best practice is just the power of showing up. Every time that you show up and you give your 100%, you give yourself that gift of growing into your best self. So just please honor the struggles and embrace the hot mess and celebrate your victories along the way, so you can really realize your truest potential. And before I get into the fourth best practice of when it comes to getting out of your own way, I want to talk a little bit more about my online course called Reduce Your Stress, Reduce Your Waistline, because it really talks in greater details of how you can reduce your stress and reduce your waistline and how you can get out of your own way. It's called reduce your stress, reduce your waistline. And if you want to check it out, you can just click on the link below to access it today. So the fourth best practice when it comes to getting out of your own way is perfectionism. Don't allow your perfectionism get in the way of your purpose. I know it's a tough hurdle to overcome because it literally took me a while to finally understand that the only way I will progress is by putting myself out there. It's the only way that I can truly be able to see all of the imperfection that needs tweaking. And not to mention that every time you inch your way forward, you really continue to feel great because you get a hit of dopamine, which is a love hormone that makes you feel good. So I hope this message serves you well. If you feel like anybody would benefit from this video, feel free to spread the love by sharing it. And until next time, remember, just keep progressing on your own journey towards health and wellness. Cheers.